at night, often my brain will like repeat things back to me slowly in a stupid voice that I said that day, or like 20 years earlier. And I'm like, brain, why are you acting like it wasn't you? For example, one time, many years ago, I went for a job interview in Liverpool when I lived in the UK still, and it was in the National Health Service, so doing public health. And they said to me, like, we get this much budget each year from the government. And they were like, if we were to give you, say, £20,000, what would you most like to spend money on? And I thought about it for a bit, and I was like, I'd probably try and become an actor. They were like, see, we were talking about the job, and I was like, I love public health. I was like, I would definitely spend it all on initiatives. And they were like, initiatives? And I was like, initiatives? And they were like, initiatives? And I was like, initiatives? I was like, I thought it was a quirky personality question. I couldn't waste government funds on myself. And I like to imagine that after I left, they're like going through the different candidates and they're like, what did you think of this one? And he's like, well, she did say she'd spend the money on an acting career and not on public health. And she's like, I know, Kenneth. It's fucking brilliant, ain't it? And he's like, no, Janet, no. And she's like, Kenneth, the arts are chronically underfunded. How often does an opportunity like this land in your lap? And he's like, no, Janet, no. And then, years later, I'm just at the Oscars like, I'd just like to thank Janet. And I just accepted for believing in me. And screw you, Kenneth. The research was all bollocks anyway. But yeah, I saw on the news this week, this is more a cautionary tale because it's not really funny, but so a lady with the menstrual cup, you have to break the seal, otherwise it acts as a plunger, and she sucked her womb out. But basically, I have used such a thing, and I noticed that they make really silly noises. So they're a bit, it can be embarrassing in a public toilet. So one time, there was someone in the cubicle next to me, and when I pulled it out, it sounded like someone shouted, hello. But through a kazoo. I was thinking, like, I think you would rather do a big loud fart. Because at least you know where you stand. I can imagine like she was in there being like, what the hell? Is someone trying to communicate? And I was like, hello! So, speaking of farts, my ex really hated farts. So I wasn't allowed to fart. But we were together for a long time, so obviously in the duration of like 7 years or whatever, like he farted like maybe 3 times. And every time I farted, he would be like, why did you do that? And eventually I was like, do you really think if I was farting in front of you on purpose to upset you? I could only do 1 fart every 2 years. Yes. So you might be able to tell that I'm not a big fan of fine dining. So one time someone took me to a Michelin-starred restaurant, and I was just like, this is such bullshit, like everything costs like £100 and they tell you a big story about everything. And this one dish, it was like a plate with like rocks on and then little tiny bits of seafood. So when they told like a beautiful story about the name of the fisherman and everything, and then they went away and I was like, I'm just going to put all of the rocks in my bag and when they come back, pretend that I ate them. Those rocks were really nice. have you got any more? And then I would leave a review on Yelp. And be like, thinking back, I might have made a terrible mistake. I got full up on rocks and I didn't have room for dessert. So my friend of mine bought an iPad for her granddad so he could get online. And then when she looked to do some settings, she realised that the first thing he had searched for when he got the internet was nude ladies. And we were like, oh bless. And we were like, that's actually kind of exactly what you would want. So I will end with a story about my mum. So she's quite bizarre, which probably explains a lot. I was on the phone to her this week, and she said to me, I had a nap, and you wouldn't believe what time I woke up. And I was like, what? And she was like, 9 in the afternoon. And I was really like, I'm going to need an AM or PM, because I was like, 10, I would guess she means 10 AM, but 9 is just nowhere. But anyway, one time when I was at home, in the morning, she fell out of bed in front of me really slowly. But it was just weird because while she was falling, she was saying, "This is an accident." What does she mean? Does she think that I think that that's how she gets out of bed? Just rolls onto the bedside table and then off onto the floor. It's so strange. Yeah.